Hey, how's it going? My name's Nat. Welcome to Newsbreak. Actually, this is the very last episode of Newsbreak for 2022, so I thought we'd do something a little bit different to wrap up the year. I'm going to hand things over to Joe, who's going to take us on a tour of the biggest news stories from Australia and around the world.
Welcome to the 2022 Archives Tour. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Yeah, I've got a question. Why were you in that bin right there?
No time, mate. Let's go. First thing you'll see over on your left is one of the biggest news stories of the year. Floods.
Australia's east coast floods saw record-breaking rainfall, which led to dams and rivers bursting their banks and flooding towns, like Lismore in New South Wales, which was one of the worst affected.
I never thought I'd experience that. I knew it was going to flood. I definitely didn't think it was going to be that high.
But Mother Nature threw many other curveballs too. If you look to your right, you'll see all of the volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, earthquakes, droughts, fires and heat waves that affected many countries across the globe. Mother Nature wasn't in control of all the big stories this year though. Come with me.
Since February, the war in Ukraine has dominated global headlines.
The war in Ukraine has had a huge effect on the whole world.
We've seen millions of Ukrainians flee the country in search of safety. And in Iran, we saw more conflict, as people took to the streets demanding more freedoms for women following the death of Mahsa Armini.
I think it's really brave, and I'm really proud to say that my people are doing that.
Over in Sri Lanka, there were more protests, as people called for leaders to step down in the wake of an economic crisis. In other countries, new leaders stepped up, like in the UK, who had 3 prime ministers in just 2 months.
Now, if you look in here at Australia, you'll see that we also got a new leader. A whole new government, in fact.
Together, we begin the work of building a better future.
And they got straight to work, announcing a referendum for an indigenous voice to Parliament.
I ask all Australians of goodwill to engage on this. If not now, when?
While we welcomed some new influential figures this year, if you look over there, we also said goodbye to some.
Some of sport's all-time greats, like Serena Williams, Roger Federer and Ash Barty, called it quits. And others were farewelled for good. Cricket legend Shane Warne's death at just 52 years old shocked the world. And then, a few months later in September, the world was shocked again.
Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
After 70 years on the throne, the world reflected on the life of Britain's longest-serving monarch.
It's quite sad to see someone so important just go.
And all of that is just scraping the surface. Data hacks, space innovations, thylacine cloning, it all happened just this year.
But now we've got to wrap up this 2022 tour, so if you could go and join the now 8 billion people that make up the Earth's population, that'd be great. No time, mate. Off you go. Thank you. Goodbye.
Well, there you have it. Another year done and dusted. But don't worry, we'll be back in 2023 with plenty more.
We've had so much fun bringing you the news every weekday, so we thought for our final episode we'd show you some of the silliness that goes on behind the scenes.
See you next year.
Bye!
Sorry, say that part again.
I can do wheelies.
Perfect.
Luckily, Gladys, luckily.
Students here have been preparing for to talk to some students, so I stumbled over that.
Is that it? Here we go. Gritty safely to school day.
Yeah, it was all right.
Hey? Banana. Happy walk safe to school, everyone. Happy walk safe. No, when I say.
Okay.
I don't know what noise they make.
Stay cool.
All right, great job, guys. Thank you.